The NFL draft is weeks away, but dynasty managers, we're on the clock. Yo! Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Too Much Fantasy Football. It's your co-hosts, Brian and Brennan, here for a little mock draft mania. Brennan, how are we doing today?
Well, it's exciting to always just sit here and fantasize about these players we hope to get, and then it just turns out in reality it's not going to happen. So,
yeah, it's quite a bit of heartbreak in this offseason. But folks, tonight, I am joined by two Dynasty games, two of the finest in the Dynasty minds, men whose rankings are carved in the stone tablets, whispered in the Discord channels. First up, you may know him for his time behind the mic with Fourth and Dynasty. Little show with me, where his takes were bold, but his vibes were even bolder. He's a film grinder, a trade slayer, and he writes for Dynasty Pros with the precision of a surgeon and the heart of a man who's just watched too much Keon Coleman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cody.
Wow, quite an introduction there. I appreciate it.
Hey, that's what we have here. And then joining him, hailing from the land of the Titans. Yeah, those Titans. He reps the undroppables like a badge of honor. You heard his voice on Dynasty Pulse and Two Guys, One Pod. If you haven't heard him, congrats. You're living under a rock. He's a content machine, a rookie savant, and a man powered by solely vibes and player profiler data. Please welcome the one, the only, Chev.
Boys, I'm glad to be here. This is about to be a ton of fun. Thank you for having me.
Too much fun, maybe, if you will.
A little too much fun. I would say just enough, but not quite.
Ignore
not
my
quite
co-host
too much.
bad puns.
We don't want the non-emergency line to get called here, okay, guys? We're gonna rein it. We're gonna bring it down, okay, and we're just gonna keep it just enough fun. This is gonna be just enough fun podcast, not the too much.
Oh, hey, first 20 minutes, folks, that's probably where we're going to be at, but don't worry. We're going long today. We're going to keep it in it. It will be too much fun. As I said, though, we're going to be diving in, doing a little mock draft season. We're getting close, right around a month away. I know we've been diving through the spreadsheets into the film. It's going to be a Superflex mock draft, half PPR, if that really matters too much here in the early mock draft stages, but we'll go ahead and start with Cody. We'll go clockwise there as we go. I know, Cody, pressure's on for you. You got the 101 in this mock draft. Who would you be taking?
It's unquestionably Ashton Jeanty if I had the 101. Unfortunately, I traded a lot of 2025 picks for 2024 picks because I was an idiot. But it would be Ashton Jeanty at the 101.
It's got to be.
Is there really anything that I need to say about it either? I mean, he's the overall 101 for a reason. He's been amazing the last 2 years at Boise State. He's got the build. He's got everything. Even his numbers, even though I'm not the numbers guy, clearly in this Rolodex of people that you have. He even has those, so everyone's happy.
I guess, is there a world where any of y'all can see that somebody jumps Jeanty? Is there a quarterback landing destination? Is there like a wide receiver, another running back where you guys can see him jumping Jeanty?
Hampton.
I can see
purely based off landing spot. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, that it's got to be landing spot. I mean, if Cam Ward ended up being a New York Giant and got to throw to Malik Neighbors, I don't know that I'd be able to keep myself out of the cement aisle for taking him 101. I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, it's overvalued, but I mean, Cam Ward, Malik Neighbors, we solved the quarterback problem. Malik Neighbors is probably dynasty wide receiver 2, unquestionably at that point. Like we're gonna feed families, okay? With Cam Ward, and I mean, maybe Amarian Hampton if he landed somewhere. I mean, but the Chargers aren't even. I mean, that was the primo landing spot. So maybe so the Broncos. If he goes to the Broncos,
I think that would get the engines rolling a little bit for me.
I'd be very intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, but that means that Ashton Jeanty probably went to. I mean, does that mean Ashton Jeanty went to the Raiders or the Bears or the Cowboys? Like, are you gonna take him over? Like, do you prefer the Broncos that much over either?
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's got to be like a plus 10,000 upset.
What about Jackson Dart with his upside? The rushing upside we see with Jackson Dart. If he gets that top 10 draft capital, Nope. Okay, we're not entertaining. I'm playing devil's advocate here. All right, we're sliding to 102. Chev, take us off. What do we have here at 102?
Just give me Amarian Hampton. Yeah. Give me the souped up version of the muscle hamster. I need it. I need it in my life.
This guy's for real too. I mean, Brennan and I were there at the combine, just seeing him just right there in front of us. A behemoth of a man, just absolutely should crush in this league. Day one, he's going to go out there. And
I thought he was a linebacker. I legitimately thought he was a linebacker.
He's like, "Damn it, Brian, we're supposed to be doing the running backs today." I was like, "Yeah, that's what we got."
No, I mean, dude looks like an Under Armour mannequin. So like, I don't doubt anything that you're saying.
All right. Any pushback to that? Like Cam Ward potentially going at number 1? Are we not we're taking a running back over a quarterback there?
I mean, you could. I mean, the value long term is with the quarterback, but also, I mean, I'm a Titans fan, and I'm being realistic in saying that we don't have like him throwing to Calvin Ridley and Chigakonkwo and whoever we draft in this like the 2nd or 4th round. That's not going to inspire me enough to say, oh yeah, Cam Ward, like that's a valuable asset in 2025 over what I know I'm going to get out of the running back 1 or 2.
I feel you. All righty, we ready for 103?
Let's do it.
What you got?
Honestly, it's really tough to sit here because this is kind of like where I feel like it's a tier break, and like I like Ted McMillan. I mean, Cam Ward. It really depending on like what my team structure is. But I think you and I talked about it, Brian. It's really hard because I think we both agree that like he's going to be a wide receiver. It's Travis Hunter. Like I just can't pass on the talent. It's ridiculous. Like I genuinely believe where he goes, he will be a wide receiver. There's more money to be a wide receiver.
I really thought you were going Tyler Warren. I was like, oh crap, we talked about 4 or 5 as a stretch for him. Travis Hunter, the steam for the wide receiver for him playing that position where he'd probably go in the early drafts that would fit best. So, I mean, I guess is everybody on board with the wide receiver play?
He's the best receiver in the draft, man. He's definitely going to be a corner.
I think he's going to be playing corner. Too much corner that it hurts his value.
Too much corner, huh? All right. A little spinoff show for the secondaries. All right, we're going to put that in the back pocket, Cody.
Okay. All right. I see what's happening here now. Okay.
We build franchises. That's what we do here.
Okay. All right. There's some brand placement going on. I like it.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's say he goes 3 to the Patriots.
I'm in heaven.
They've got Gonzalez. You still think he's going DB?
He's going to play a lot more receiver there.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes to the Patriots, he's going to play a lot more receiver there, but they got a lot of issues. I don't think they're going to go Travis Hunter, especially if when it's looking like the top 2 isn't Abdul Carter. They're going to go Abdul Carter. We know this. That is the epitome of Vrabel guy.
Yeah, this whole Abdul Carter, does he goes 2, 3, 4? You know, like what the Browns do. It's we got 4 more weeks of this madness.
I think it'd be tough for the Patriots to pass on Abdul Carter, but like I have a feeling he's going to go 1 or 2. So I mean, that's just my assumption. Yeah.
All righty, Travis Hunter's going 103. All right, I can't do it. It's a super flex draft. I've got to take the quarterback. We're assuming he goes 1. If he does, then he's going 2. Just the compound value you get from quarterbacks, how it holds on. I mean, look at Bryce Young. He was almost cooked, and like there's still value there. Zach Wilson had value just a couple years ago, even though he was, like very, very small value. But like, I just think quarterbacks hold on to it too well here. So I've got to take a guy who's going to probably go number 1 in the draft.
As a fellow Titans fan in here, like, do you want to take Cam Ward 1, or do you want to trade back and stockpile more picks?
At first, I wanted when I thought that there was a debate between like, are we gonna take Cam Ward? Are we gonna take Shadur Sanders? Man, what's the film really look like? Everybody like when you listen to the noise, it's like, yeah, well, you don't really need, you have so many needs, you don't need it. And then the Giants are like, yeah, pump that hype up. It's like, no, if you have a chance to get a quarterback, you get a stinking quarterback. Like, why would you not do this? So unless you're going to sell your firstborn and their birthright I'm not trading the number 1 pick. No matter, like, you have give me a first. So if it was Cleveland, I would need their first, like swap, go to 2. Then I would need 33. Then I would need another first round pick, then another second round pick, and then like Jeremiah Owosu Koromoa to even consider this. So yes, I want Cam Ward.
Fair enough.
Brennan and I were actually talking just yesterday about the AFC South quarterback situation, and if they take Cam Ward, the Colts will have the worst draft capital quarterback at that point in the AFC South at number 4 overall, just with 2 number 1 picks and the number 2 pick with C.J. Stroud. Insane draft capital.
By far and away the worst quarterback in the division too. So yes.
Okay, shots fired there.
I mean, we know this to be true, Brian. Come on.
I do, but I don't like to talk about it. God.
Like
I have hope.
I'm a Florida fan, so I've seen this movie coming, and I even let people talk me into Anthony Richardson as a fantasy asset going into 2024. Even though I watched him at the University of Florida do exactly what he's doing now, I was like, man, this is probably, not very good for the NFL. And then I did one startup, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do something different. I took Anthony Richardson like the 3rd overall pick because I was like, he's going to break fantasy. And all he did was just break my heart.
Yep, been there before.
Preach it.
Yeah.
Cody, who you got at 105?
105. I'm going to take Tet McMillan here. I think I like his value here just because of we're now in the tier of I don't know which Ohio State running back I like more, to be honest. Yeah. And
talk that talk.
With the rest of the wide receivers that are there, I don't know which one I like the most. So I'm going to take the one with the most value, in my opinion. And he's just another T. Higgins. So if he gets in the right situation, which, all of our drafts happen right after the draft. So we'll know his situation after that. If I'm doing one beforehand, I'm still going to guess that he's going to get somewhere where there's already an established number 1, and that's where I want him is the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 range right away, because then I'm going to see his need for the team, and I'm going to like what I get out of production. And at the at the value at the 105, I'm okay with taking a little bit more of a flyer here than kind of a safer pick because I might have another piece or two that I like more, and I'm not making him my overall piece. Like, I'm not building around him. He's just another building block.
Yeah, I get that. He's, I'm excited. I hope he pans out. I'm tired of these big guys flopping when they're coming into the NFL. Give me these giant towering receivers.
Quentin Johnston, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. He would have been great if he caught the ball.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's why Ted needs to go to the Chargers. Go down there and go be a 1A, 1B with Ladd.
Man, there's no chance that Jim Harbaugh is it's Khakis. Khakis Harbaugh is not going to take a receiver, with that first pick.
No shot.
It's not. He has a brand, and he will not take a skill position that early.
God, just something. Give me a running back. Give me a receiver or a tight end, maybe. Chev, who you got here for your 106?
Man, so
tight end, maybe.
I did not anticipate having to be in this position. I mean, are we talking tight end premium or just normal tight end? Just normal, no tight end premium here.
I'd say no tight end premium. You want to do it that way? Yeah.
No tight end premium, Quinshon Judkins.
All right, there it is. It is. So we got the Judkins over the Henderson, huh?
Yeah, I have Quinshon Judkins as my running back 3. I've loved him since the moment I laid eyes on him at Ole Miss, and he just like his combine performance. I was gonna be fine with anything in the 4.5 range. And he comes out and he just blows the combine out of the water. Burst score is incredible. Runs a 4.48. I comped him to David Montgomery, but he might be more Nick Chubb than I gave him credit for. I didn't think he had the athleticism that Nick Chubb has. And so, I mean, it's almost a carbon copy of Nick Chubb. Like this is one of my favorite players. He's been one of my favorite players since 2023, his true freshman year, where he took Zach Evans' spot. And I think he's going to have a very long and very fruitful NFL career. And him falling potentially, I mean, he's a day 2 pick right now. He's a 2nd round pick, and he's going to land in a better situation because of that. Jordan Reed mocked him to the Cowboys, and if that happens, I'll be bricked up in the cement aisle, boys. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I would. Sorry, go ahead, Brennan.
No, I was just saying that'd be a great spot for Jenkins.
Yeah. I would also agree with you, Chev, there. And I think the differencing styles of Ole Miss to Ohio State, you had Kelly as his OC in Ohio State, and then you have Lane Kiffin offense. He showed that he's been able to play in different offenses as well, which makes him almost more valuable than Travion in that regard. He's already known how to read different offenses and different line schemes and everything. And I really like that, especially when they're coming out of college.
Oh yeah. I'm a big Quinshon Judkins fan. Like I could talk more, but I'm trying not to hog the mic.
Brennan, give me that 107. Who you got?
Oh, I think you know who it is. It's Tyler Warren. I think I have him fourth as my overall best, I'd say fifth. I have him fifth as my overall best prospect for this rookie class, I would say.
Yeah, folks, we had a conversation prior to this. I told him he was not allowed to take it with the 103. So this is as early as, Brennan could get Tyler Warren on the board here. I mean, top 15 is kind of where he's being projected right now. There's top 10 talks for this guy. Where are we, though, in the excitement? Like, Brock Bowers is a 10. We like 7, 8. Is this guy like a 9?
He's like an 8.5, 9 for me, honestly. I mean, like, he's not as like a crisp route runner as Brock Bowers, but like he does everything, though. Like he gets, he has like lateral plays in the backfield. He can run the ball. Like I mean, when you watch his tape at Penn State, he was the focal point of that team. So I'm so excited to go wherever he goes. It doesn't matter.
That's where I disagree. He needs to go to a bad team to be the focal point. Because if he's not the focal point, he's not going to get enough touches to actually be relevant, in my opinion. Now, again, the same thing with like Tet in this situation. We're in the middle of the draft. You're going overall value for sure, but Tyler Warren is still going to be a good play. But it definitely, if it's more early on in the draft, he climbs ranks for me and just a little bit more.
Unless he goes to the Jets.
Yes,
or the Colts.
Or the Colts.
Yes, that's my thing. I love him on there from a team standpoint to add great players, but fantasy, I don't want Warren on the Colts.
No, not even a little bit, dude. I have been. There's a bunch of mock drafts, and so many different mock drafts have him going 14 to the Colts, and I can't tell you how much I hate that. Like, it makes him almost undraftable in the first round. Now, granted, they could upgrade the quarterback situation in a way in which we can't possibly anticipate right now. But if he goes to the Colts and he has to choose between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, my choice is going to be to jump off of a tall bridge.
That is the interesting thing because, I mean, if this season goes bad enough, the Colts they'll be emptying house. We'll have a brand new quarterback next year. We'll have a whole new approach. So Tyler Warren, if he does fall in the rookie drafts because he goes to the Colts, he might be that steal opportunity opens up too, because not all rookies blow up in their first year. Unlike the last 2 years we've seen it, it's not always there. So then like his value just increasingly rises as he drops down the board. So it's an interesting situation altogether, but it's the Colts. So I doubt we're going to fix the quarterback situation.
I think for me, what's different is that, like, how far do you guys separate Tyler Warren from Loveland? Like, for me, I think it's a tier break. I think it's like a genuine, like, there's a tier break between the two.
Yeah, there's a player in between those two as well.
Oh, okay. We're not going to go that far. Anyways, I guess my thing would be, we've done this mistake before, though, right? We're like, oh, he went to a terrible situation. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, was going before Jonathan Taylor. So, like, I view it as, like, people might be doing the same thing. Like, if Loveland goes to the Chargers and Tyler Warren goes to the Colts, like, I think people are going to, go with Loveland over Tyler Warren, which I think could be a mistake in the end.
Yeah, short term, that's probably what looks best, but long term, it's probably Warren.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in such a microwave society that, we're going to make the mistake of drafting situation over talent. More exactly. Like, even though we talk about it as analysts and people like analysts and players of the game, it's like, hey man, don't do that. Don't do it. And then you can't stop yourself once you see the landing spot. You're like, I'm doing it. I'm just going to send it. And then, a year and a half from now, you're like, why did I do that? So,
yeah. Like when I traded away the pick that took Brock Bowers for Christian McCaffrey to Cody, because I was like, you know what? I'm going all in. I got this. Let me go get CMC. He took Brock Bowers and, yeah. Yeah, didn't win the
Sometimes
chip.
pain is the best teacher.
He didn't win the chip, but the league's folding, so you'll be fine.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll draft a new one. Get those startups ready, everybody. All right, so my guy, I'm going to go here at the 108. It hurts me because I want to take a wide receiver. I really do, but there's all the Judkins love here, and I got to give it to the real number 3 in this class. I got to put Travion Henderson up there.
Okay.
I love the talent of Quinshon. It's not that, but when I look at it from a fantasy mindset, Travion Henderson looks like he could, without the landing spot, looks like he could give me more of that fantasy edge just in that receiving work. So I'm going to go Henderson here.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, he only caught 5 more passes than Quinshon did this year, right?
5 more, but you said he caught more passes, so we're on the same page here.
But they both broke the threshold, and he only caught 5 more passes. I just throwing it out there. I don't even know why I said that.
It was pretty.
I don't even know why I said that. I'm doing too much.
Hey, look at that. 20 minutes in. We're on brand here, folks. We're going from just enough to too much as we come here to the end of the first. We're going 109. It's Cody. What do you have for us?
You know who it's going to be, Brian. I've been talking this guy up for 2 years, and he's still my QB1 of this draft. It's Shadur Sanders. I'll take all the baggage with him, and everything about him I love. I would rather have the quarterback that panics in the pocket and runs outside and to make a play rather than throwing over the middle and making an interception that way. Makes for the game to be a little bit more fun. So I like Shadur Sanders a lot more than Cam Ward. I've been on record saying that, and that's just you let me have 3 of my favorite players in this draft with Jeanty, McMillan, and Sanders. I'm very happy.
Well, when you're picking 101 here, I mean,
it does help. But I got Sanders at 109, and I was contemplating him at 105, and I was contemplating him at 102. So I would
That's great. You got an ideal landing spot for him?
It doesn't matter, in my opinion.
Doesn't matter.
I think if he gets, obviously, I want him with an offensive coordinator as their head coach. So even Brian Callahan, I think, would be good for him. And as long as they let him be him, and they let him have the scheme that he knows, let it fly, man.
And this segment was paid and sponsored by Deion Sanders. Thanks, Cody.
Right.
Is that a Colorado Buffaloes? Like, is that a fathead back there in the back?
Chev, give me that 110.
Emeka Egbuka.
Nice. Yeah, this was where I was considering here for the wide receiver I was looking at.
Yeah, I love Emeka Egbuka. I've called him the professional's professional. This is a guy who's earned targets with quite possibly the most talented receiver room of the last 20 years, and he's earned targets and dominated with all of those guys present. JSN. Then you got Marvin Harrison. Then you come out and you have, the alien, Jeremiah Smith, and he still does his thing with that monstrosity in the room with him. Like, Carnell Tate's going to be a pro. For those of you, I don't want to go too much into the Ohio State roster because I hate Ohio State. But
yeah, we know.
Yeah, there's a room full of pros, and then there's this guy who just does his thing no matter who's in the room with him. So I love him. I love his prospects. I'm glad that he ran a 4.4 at his pro day. Pro day 40s aren't real, guys, just so you know. But I'm still I love Emeka Egbuka, and I can't wait to see the landing spot because if he falls here, that's tremendous value for me.
And it looks like it very well could roll out this way. Even if he gets first round capital, I think, we get a couple of these running backs in the first round, a couple of those we like. Yeah, we might get a steal here for those championship contending teams.
And Brian, you and I have talked about Egbuka before, and JSN, Olave, and Garrett Wilson. He also has played with, and they all say that he is the most professional wide receiver they've ever played with. That says a lot when those guys are already in the league, and they're still saying that about a guy that hasn't been drafted yet.
It seems to be a trend about these Ohio State guys helping the ones that are still in school. A couple of them giving them some shout-outs. They seem to be all
producing, though, too. So.
The ones that aren't going to the hospital.
Quarterback, so.
Or Derek Carr. Brennan, what's that 111 looking like?
I think I'm stuck between 2 guys. I'm stuck between Matthew Golden and Colston Loveland.
I knew the tight end was in consideration.
Dude, it's just when you watch both these players, you get excited. And, I already have Ty Warren, so I'll go Matthew Golden, the guy who ran the fastest 40 time out of the wide receivers at the combine. You watch his tape, he does everything. He's got a clean, crisp route running. He's got good hands. I think he's going to be a first-round talent.
It's going to be hard to not see him slide in there. That's all you're seeing right now is that draft type that he should sneak in there. And the fact that it's one of these playoff teams that's probably going to get the whack at him, it could be interesting.
Man, this is music to my ears. We know that the 40 time always steams up a wide receiver to just get into the first round. That was a day 2 guy, probably a top 50 pick beforehand. And then he runs an incredible 40, and now he's going top 25. So, yeah, this is probably where he's going to end up in rookie drafts. So, great pick by you.
Thank you.
And to wrap up the end of the first round, I've woken up many a nights. Many a nights I've woken up, and my dream was just interrupted by this man just running in there, and it's Luther Burden the third. Like this guy, I want to have him so much higher in my rankings. As a draft class, we talk about not elite, like overworldly talent. I don't know how I don't have him higher. He's behind, Chet and Hunter and Igbuka for me. But yeah, Luther Burden, he's going to be something special in the NFL.
He's fallen lately. It's kind of crazy. It's really weird because like other people put out like their top 5, and he's not in the top 5 in quite a few like notable names.
Which I feel like he was about a month ago, and he didn't have a bad showing at the combine. So I don't get if it's necessarily his stock is down or others are just up.
I think it's also his size. He's a little smaller, and do they need another slot guy on their team? It might just be based really on fit rather than how much of a good prospect he is. So I think overall, I think you're right, Brian. I think a lot of people have just really raised their stock where he stayed the same. But you're right. You watch his tape, you're like, there's no question this guy is a NFL wide receiver, and I would be very happy to draft him.
Absolutely. Well, tell me who else you're excited to draft because you're up at the 201.
Let's see here. Nah, it's Colson Loveland. He's I don't like taking tight ends in the first round. That's just my thing because I have been the one that was burned by Kyle Pitts. So I try to just it still haunts me to this day. So I try to stay away from him until I inevitably have to take them, and that is usually in the second round. There's always a tier break, another tier break, and I really think after Loveland there is one where we're going to start getting some wild picks here. And I think he was the last one of that last tier. So I had to take him just based off of that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we're kind of coming into it without knowing landing spots. There's kind of a tier break, I feel like, from the talent a little bit. Still, guys I love. I think there's at least 11 more picks here that I'm really excited about. But yeah, without landing spot, it's going to be different. So give me that 2-2, Chev. What you got?
Trey Harris.
Trey Harris. All right. I like it.
Yeah, Trey Harris. He's my wide receiver. He's my wide receiver 3 in this class. So I love the analytic profile. I love his advanced analytics, yards per route run versus man, over 5 yards per route run. And then, if you've watched him, that he's not fast. He's not a burner. That he's not a 4.3 guy. That's not how he's chewing up yards and putting up these ridiculous numbers. He's efficient. They line him up in one spot and he gets open, and then they throw him the ball in there. They throw him the ball in the end zone, and he comes up with he's a contested catch monster. So I don't understand what there's not to like about him. I'm glad that he ran a quote unquote bad 40 because it's gonna scare casuals off of him. But if you watched him play, you're like, okay, yeah, that tracks. It's like 4.5, that tracks. But then he was 82nd percentile vertical jump and 84th percentile burst score. So I could care less. I couldn't. And when I watch the film and I watch him play, and I'm like, yes, that's my guy. So yes, Trey Harris, that's me all day long.
What seems like should be a great value draft pick here early in the second round anyway. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm liking that. Brennan, give me that 2-3. The tight ends are off the board. Who are you going to take?
I know. So
Harold
sad.
Fannin.
That's gross. That's absolutely gross.
Come on,
I'll never
man.
do that
I
ever.
know. He's nice enough to
I'm
leave
going to
it
take
for
a guy
me.
that he's kind of fallen to. He's my RB. I want to say he's my RB5. It's Caleb Johnson.
Incredible value here.
Yeah,
Incredible.
he's the prototypical size. You want him over six. He's 6'. He was over 225. I think he weighed in at. He's got
Yes.
super good vision. He's a workhorse back. He's NFL ready already. He's got great ball security. The only thing that really kind of hinders him, that's why he's fallen. He's not really a receiving back, but the dude's just got the size to be. I don't know. I think he's a better version of Najee Harris still the catching.
Hey, that'll pay dividends in fantasy. I'm cool with it. All right, my guy, I feel like it's kind of a layup. It has to happen here. It's Jackson Dart. I know. Look at back-to-back quarterbacks for me.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets first-round draft capital. There's talks that he could go in the top 10 if you follow certain drafts. So, I think just with that speculation alone, I've got to take him early enough. He does have what seems like the most rushing upside out of these top 3 quarterbacks, and you just don't let those fall, especially in Superflex. So, Jackson Dart, hop on the team.
Not
Gross.
mad at it. Not mad at it at all.
2-5, Cody. Who's it going to be?
I think it's to no surprise, another kind of bigger wide receiver. That's Jaden Higgins. Again, he's just another guy that I really like watching his tape. You know, you watch Cam Scatabo tape and everything like that, and then it's just like, who's this Jaden Higgins guy? And I just keep watching Iowa State tape, and then he keeps popping out at me, and I like that a lot. I like that in a lot of players.
And like we talked about this auto draft for Sleeper being wonky, yeah, I just had to scroll to what would be the 4th round to go find him. I don't think he's going to go that far when we get to true ADP.
No,
I have not seen him. So before the combine, he was in the 3rd round, and now in the combine, and most of the mock drafts that I run, he's mid to late 2nd. There's 0 chance he's making it to the 4th round. 0 chance.
0.
Oh, I play Dynasty Leagues with randos. He will fall, I guarantee it. Some of the values I've pulled, we start our draft a lot of, usually right after the NFL draft, but
That's fair.
A lot of these guys run off ADP, and there are some steals that I've gotten in the 3rd round. A lot of duds.
I'm thrilled for you that you get to experience something like that.
Yeah,
Hey, they're boring leagues because nobody talks.
I wouldn't talk either.
Analysts, I guess, because I never get that value.
Yeah, it's all about those rando leagues. That's where I had to get my reps in. 2-6, who's it going to be, Chev?
All right. So we're getting into the nitty gritty of it now. I love this here.
Yeah, Kansas running back Devin Neal. I mean, big fan. He's in that cluster of tier 3-4ish running backs for me, where I just don't quite know where to put him, but I'm super excited to see where he lands.
I think Chev froze.
He's speechless. He can't believe he got him. That's great value right there. 2-6. I feel
Oh
you,
my
man.
goodness.
Brennan, give me that 2-7.
Yeah, so I think this is my RB6 for me. It's Ollie Gordon. I don't think he's gonna fall too far.
I really thought he was gonna. I thought I'd get away with getting him.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. These running backs are gonna be shooting off here. I want to grab more wide receivers because I feel like that's kind of where the value is. But running backs are just I'm frothing at the mouth here.
He's pro size. Everything's good for him. And the only thing that you can kind of say it's not really in his wheelhouse is receiving. But again, I think teams will use him as a 1st and 2nd down back, and it'll be A-okay in fantasy.
He can go be Derrick Henry in Baltimore.
Yep,
that is
literally
just fine.
Don't care.
That is just fine for me. Alrighty here. I'm going up next. There's a few I like, but I'm going Dylan Sampson here. And overall, he was lower on my RB rankings when I first made my rankings, just when I started watching tape, really started diving into these guys. But when you start taking the application of what really is applicable in fantasy football and what thrives, it's the pass catchers. It's the things that Dylan Sampson excels in. The shiftiness, yeah, that's right. Cody knows how to move a little bit, just like that Sampson move. So I'm going Dylan Sampson here. Super excited to see where he lands, how this goes. But this it might be a reach, but who knows? This might be great value when we get to it.
I agree totally with the Sampson and the Gordon because, like I was doing the Dak Prescott, getting the hips loose. Those two guys right there have the best balance, probably out of everyone, even Jeanty, because you can see how Jeanty even stands in the back of the backfield. Does his hips have the flexibility that he needs to get through pro-style arm tackles? I think he does, but Ollie Gordon and Dylan Sampson are going to make teams because of that.
Oh, man, I sure hope so.
With that next pick, I'm going to go with the guy that's had a horrible week and a horrible draft, but I still love him, and I would love to have him in this spot. That's Xavier Restapro. And, again, it's one of those – I wish Chev was here because it's like he's going to fall. But, man, if he gets paired up with Cam Ward, I'm snagging him up everywhere because his tape with Cam Ward – makes me happy,
Well, your wish is my command, Cody. I brought Chev back, so man, I saw you got so excited about that Devin Neal pick. You just couldn't stand it, huh?
Yeah, dude, my computer completely disagreed with the Devin Neal pick, to be honest with you, and so that's why it just sent me a message was like no, and I said I'm doing it anyway. So,
well, give us that argument. Why are you going? Yeah, we made it back around. Yeah, Ollie Gordon, Dylan Sampson, and then Restrepo went after.
Oh, perfect. Even better. So anyway, with Devin Neal, yeah, I love him. He's my RB4 in the class. Again, a guy who's not a burner when you watch him on film, but he just consistently creates something out of nothing, and Kansas sucks, and their offensive line sucks. So he's consistently creating with nothing available to him. He's creating 5-yard gains, and then when there are lanes, he's making 5-yard runs turn into 50-yard runs. And he just consistently does stuff like that. Maybe not 50 because, again, he's not very fast. But, you saw him put up 287 total yards against Colorado and 4 touchdowns. So, I love Devin Neal. I'm excited because I'm going to get a discount because he ran a bad 40. Give me Jalen Royals with this pick right here. I was really hoping that he would fall to me. I gambled, and
That's
I won.
Guy.
Yeah, give me Jalen Royals right here.
Dang it. All right, yeah. I figured I'd get either the running back I wanted or the wide receiver I wanted on my pick. So, big fan of the Royals is there as well. Great pick.
Thank you.
Brennan, 211. You're closing out your last pick in the second round. Who's it going to be?
I think it's a guy that just didn't have a good combine week because he just kind of was, a little too excited and said he was going to run a 4.19. It's Isaiah Bond. I think Isaiah Bond's not going to fall this far. I think he's going to get taken in day 2. He is fast. The other day, when you watch his tape, he is very quick off the line. Great route running. He's got good hands. The only thing that really hinders him, I would say, is that his durability. They're a little worried because he's 5'11", 180. So, but again, I think he's going to be like a day 2 pick. So I don't think he'll be. If he falls this far, I'll be very excited, but I doubt it.
I don't think it's an unreal thing to say that he does fall. Like, I think he should go a little higher, but at the same time, it's hard to bump him for somebody else that's up above. This is an interesting class, especially following up last year's, and just, it's very interesting here. All right, the player I want, I'm not going to take because I know I can get him on my next pick here, so I'm going to go ahead and take Scatabo. I'm falling into the hype. I kind of let all the steam die down a little bit after January, but the more I look at it, as far as fantasy, as long as he gets that right landing spot, I still think he could be a very strong asset. Definitely give you some RB2 numbers, maybe even flirt from RB1 in some seasons, depending on where he goes. So give me Scatabo.
I think for fantasy people, they're like it's a coin flip. They're 50-50. Either they hate him or they love him. There's no in between. And I'm on the side of I don't like him. So,
well, let's talk about that for a second without derailing us too much. Like, what don't you like?
I just think that it was more so like when you watch his tape, he looks great. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I watched the tape at Sacramento State up to Arizona State. He was. granted, Texas great defense. He was very sick, so I can't really hold that against him for that one game tape. But I just don't think he's going to be what he was in college. I just don't think that barn burner style is going to be in the NFL. I don't think he's going to toss around little DBs in the Big 12 like he is in the NFL.
Well, I mean, that still leaves him room to be really good, though. Like he's a great pass catching running back. He's agile. It's not like he's just Mike Allstott and he's just running through. Like he has lateral agility. I know that we want to throw out the real gym rat clutch, first guy in, last guy out, real coach on the field. But no, he's got some stuff to him. Like I've been right there where you are, but then when you watch the tape, it's not like he's like Toby Gerhart or something like that. Like this is a dude. It's
funny you say that. I'm from like where Toby Gerhart's from, so like it's hilarious you said that.
I'm sorry. I have an ability to pull the most random
I watched him
connections
play
together.
live. Like the dude ran like a hidden minimum. I think he still holds the California State record for most yards average per game. Like that's like it's crazy. Dude was also 19, 20 years old as a senior. So
Are we saying Toby Gerhart had a bad NFL career?
Easy there, Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. And he had a pretty decent career here, all right?
Oh, man. Give me that 301, Cody. Let's see if we can wrap up this round here in just a few minutes. Kind of start lightning round through them. Who do you got for us?
I think it's quite clearly it's going to be Jalen Milroe for me here. And it's obviously the rushing upside and everything like that. But, I mean, I think he's going to – I would argue that he might have better traits than Jalen Hurts did coming out, and he fell to the second. So if he goes in the second or third round to a better team that might be a little questionable or has an older quarterback and he can come in, he's not the first-year play, but he's still a good play for the long term, I think. He's going to be a good quarterback.
And I think he's a guy that even if he goes to a team to be the backup – anytime he fills in, I think he's got a higher than most other backup shot just because of the running upside. I mean, look what was it Milton or
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, Milton did for the Patriots there. So I like it. 3-2. Chev, who do we have?
I have an auto select in the third round, and I'm glad that I'm on the front end of the third round here because it's Rashod Smith. It's Rashod Smith. That's the first chance I get in any third round. That has been my pick. If you've heard any content that I put out for the last 60 days, I have been screaming from the mountaintops that Rashod Smith is one of my favorite running backs, if not my favorite running back in the draft, because of the fact that, like, one, he's gonna represent tremendous value. People are gonna undervalue him because he's 5'10", 194 pounds, and they're gonna immediately write him off because he doesn't meet the 200-pound threshold. They'll be like, "Oh, well, he's gonna get injured, but he only played running back for 1 year." And I don't care. I do not care. He's going to be awesome. He's going to get the draft capital. He ran 4.3. He's going to get good draft capital. And the 4.3 shows up on tape. So, yeah, lightning round. I'm going to shut up now. Go ahead.
I'm pointing at you, Brian. Your thresholds and stuff.
Brennan, who you got? 4 or 3-3?
Well, I'm going to take my tight end 3 in this draft, and it's going to be Terrance Ferguson.
You're a dick.
Sorry, man. 6'5", 250, great athleticism. He's got great route running skills, can track the ball, run after catchability. I mean, the only thing you really can knock him is inconsistent at blocking. But again, we don't care about for fantasy, so that's okay with me.
I didn't even want to draft him, but just you did that so that Fannin cannot be above him. Because that's where I'm going. I'm going on Harold Fannin. When you're shooting the shot in your third round picks, no better way than with tight ends because I think it's like a 6% hit rate in the third round with rookie picks. So why don't you take a player that you know is going to hit in year 1 or year 2 possibly, and why don't you take a 20-year-old Harold Fannin that's going to kick some booty. 1,500 yards in college last year. 50% of the yards for the team. Like, that's unreal. Absolutely unreal.
Brian, you might be faster than Fannin. Just saying.
I mean, Brian, what do you say about the people? What do you say about the doubters that say Harold Fannin's knees rub together when he runs?
I do it too, and it didn't stop me. I still get to that buffet faster than anybody else.
God.
I gotta eat.
Oh man, we'll go ahead and auto out these last few picks here. any of these names really step out at you? I mean, Will Howard, Quentin Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, we saw them kind of struggle at the draft or at the combine a bit, Brennan. So I don't know how exciting they are for true fantasy.
Did you see Quinn Ewers' pro day today where he threw like the really far duck throw? Did you guys see that at all or no?
No.
When you go
I'm
to
a
chance,
Quinn
just type
Ewers.
in Quinn Ewers pro day, and he threw the farthest duck ball I've ever seen in my life. It was quite impressive.
Oh man,
I'm a Quinn Ewers denier, so I don't need to see that propaganda.
Yeah, I'm hard pass.
one
Jordan
guy I
James
want-
going in the
I want-
fourth and Giddens in the fourth. A couple I'm looking at. Yeah, Cody, give me some.
The only guy that I would have picked right after you guys and everything like that would be Mason Taylor, and that's just because he's got the pro father with Jason Taylor's son, so he's gonna get drafted. He's gonna have he's a great blocker and he's a pretty good route runner as well, and he just tests like a 2000s run or like a 2000s tight end, and I like those guys a lot. So.
Last one I want to throw out, Savion Williams. He didn't get drafted here. He's top guy on the board. I don't know where his draft capital is going to be, but oh my gosh, talk about a behemoth at wide receiver and a guy who could possibly find his way into being a pretty decent player in the NFL, maybe as a low-end wide receiver too at some point. Really excited for him.
There's a few players I want to highlight real quick. Alec Aomanor, Elijah Royal, RJ Harvey are all three of my favorite players at their positions. The catching Canuck, Alec Aomanor, famous for putting up 294 yards against Colorado with Travis Hunter. And then a player that didn't get drafted in the draft that I absolutely believe is going to get drafted when rookie drafts come around is Jalen Noel. He didn't get drafted here because Sleeper's ADP.
Oh my God, he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, Jalen Noel didn't get drafted here. So I firmly believe that is not going to be the case when rookie drafts roll around. And then you got
Iowa
Torrey Horton
State,
there.
right?
Yeah, the other Iowa State receiver.
Yeah.
Him and Jaden Higgins were the first two Iowa State receivers to go, or Big 12 receivers to go over 1,000 yards since CeeDee Lamb and Hollywood Brown did it in 2018.
Oh shit.
Do like some Torrey Horton as well.
Yep.
When you're starting to watch the Colorado games because you have to because they're always on, and then that guy steals the show. There's something to say about that. And then who was the other one that I saw? No, we didn't talk about the Louisville quarterback, but I think that's just because I don't think any of us really believe in him. But apparently he's going to be a first-round pick, and I was very surprised to hear that. So
yeah, that one's going to be interesting if he gets snuck in there at the very end of the first.
Man, he is a tremendous talent. He's just old, and he gets hurt a lot.
Exactly.
Yep. Michael Penix wants to have a discussion with you.
Yep.
Alrighty, folks, we got to get out of here. Shut it down. We got to get the food in the belly here. I am starving. So we're done here with this mock draft. Wrapped it up. 4-ish rounds, kind of. Two rounds concrete, at least, but we got the 4 covers down there. Brian and Brennan will be coming at you all the time. It's Too Much Fantasy Football here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. It's at @too_much_Brian if you're looking for me. Brennan, where you at?
At Too Much Bean Milk on X.
That's right. Chev, Cody, can't thank you two enough for coming to hang out with us. If the people are looking for more of you, Chev, where can they find you?
Man, just about everywhere on the internet. Just go to my page on X. I'm posting something new that I've put out all the time. So just go to my page at Chev90 on X, and you'll find everything you need.
Cody, what about you? Where can the people find you?
You can find me on X at Cody Folden, but I'm not really posting anything. I kind of got a little burnt out, so I'm kind of just doing things like this here and there. So I just kind of had to take a step back a little bit. But that happens. I still love fantasy football, and I'm always going to be playing it.
Yeah, check out this summer, folks. All over Too Much Fantasy Football. We'll be pulling them in, giving us a hand when we need some of this rookie help. But until next time, folks, we'll see you. Thanks, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the pod. Later.